Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. It's myself, Dale, and Andrew tonight. We may, depending on connection and sobriety, we may have Hillsy joining us for a few minutes and sharing the experience that he's having out in Lisbon with all the other lads. But we are going to talk about the Forest game, and then we are going to look ahead to the Champions League game tomorrow night against Sporting Lisbon. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, lads. How are we? We're probably a little bit more sober than we were at the end of Saturday evening. My God, that was a powerful day. And Dale, I am banning you from buying baby Guinnesses anymore, because every time we have these baby Guinnesses, whether you spill them or drink them or whatever, it's a long time since I had a hangover like that one. That was oh.
It was rough.
Didn't we all say before we all went it was going to be one of that? We'll have a quiet one this time. We're not going to get rowdy. That didn't work.
Yeah, but you can't go into the Woodbine and not have a baby Guinness, right? It's like
the two. Blame me, how
they go hand in hand. What a great day!
I tell you what, I think probably what it was is the big Guinnesses. They were so good that they were just slipping down so well. So. Let's try and keep this. We don't have Trevor to go off on Trevor time, although we're hoping he will join us from some quiet corner. He's trying to find a quiet corner in a bar somewhere in Portugal. So I'm going to keep an eye over on the screen in case he messages me.
On that note hang on a second. How's he going to find a quiet corner in a bar? If he's in a quiet corner in a bar, he's in the wrong bar.
Yeah, he will find he will find one. He will find one. But it's Mikel Arteta's 250 game in charge. Forest coming from an unbeaten 5 away trips this season. We're 5th on the table, and they were on the same points as us. Who would have thought of that? I wasn't like when you say like Nottingham Forest just before the Champions League and at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. You're thinking, I'm not too fussed about the game so much. But when you look at that stat, Andrew, it was a bigger game than we thought, and we were all a little bit worried, weren't we? Especially on the run that we've had. We've had 4 games where we hadn't had a win.
Yeah, we were. And I think we were all saying, weren't we, beforehand? I mean, I was talking to Lyle and we were saying, today's massive. It's a big game, and especially with the results that were going the way they are, with City dropping points as well, we needed to really capitalise on it. And let's be honest, Forest have caused us some problems, only not at the Emirates, but they have caused us some problems in the past and they've been playing well. So, but I think Saturday was a really, really professional performance.
It was. And before we even get into the professional performance, I think the professional performance started on the concourse, Dale, don't you? You're like, there was me and you. We took over the mantle. I didn't have I should have brought this, shouldn't I? I should have brought me Block 5. So,
yeah. Firstly, right, I said to you on several occasions, I said, it makes you realise what Dan actually does in that place. If anybody ever criticizes Dan for not doing enough or not doing this or who's that guy I think he is, try it. Just try it. Because after 5 minutes, I was blowing out of my backside. And I was so thankful for the likes of Sam and other Dan jumping in and helping out because that was hard. So it's Fergus there with his 2 sticks as a conductor, as always. Keep it going. Love that.
I'm going to try. I was trying to sing and remember the words of the songs and then think of another song that we're going to sing. So it nearly got a little bit repetitive.
We were orchestrating it at times, Ferg. You were getting the next song going. You would get everybody else to go, and off it went. It was really good, actually. It was when we first started, there was a few people looking around, and it was a bit like, I think kind of everyone was looking for the man with the flag, and then all of a sudden everybody else kind of joined in as well. But yeah, no, you did a top job there, mate.
I think there was I think we're on a lot of TikTok and Instagram videos somewhere. I think two old guys, well, one oldish and one older guy all over TikTok thinking they're like 21 again. Yeah. Oh well, anyway.
Brilliant.
Let's look at lineups. My voice still hasn't come back 100% either. I'm still a little bit hoarse. I've got this bloody cold as well. The lineups, there's lots of changes in the lineups due to injury and rotation. Well, actually, I don't think it's totally due to injury. It's probably recovery more than anything else. You got David Raya in goal. You got Timber at right back, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Jorginho on instead of Declan Rice. Moreno, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard starts ahead of Martinelli and Jesus. Dale, were you happy with the lineup? Were you like, because I know we didn't really have much of a chat about it on the walk down to the stadium.
No, agreed.
But what did you think of the lineup? I was a little bit miffed. I was wondering what's wrong with all these players.
First of all, I mean, you might remember, just everyone was saying about you guys a minute ago said, oh, we were a little bit worried about the result. You may remember on the preview show last week, I said I wasn't concerned about the result at all. My two predictions were, I did put two predictions in what Trev slated me for. And I said, I'd go for it. I said we'd score 3, which we did. I said we'd concede 1, which we didn't. But I said nobody would be surprised if it was 5-0. And I took that into the game. And one thing I've learned over the course of the last few years under Arteta is don't question Arteta's judgment. He knew what he was doing. Yes, there was a few question marks for me. I looked at the likes of Jesus starting. I like the guy, but I don't see how he fits into our team. I don't think he brings enough to the table. Yes, he works hard, but he's a striker, right? His job's to score goals, which he doesn't do. And there was also questions around Jorginho. I thought, why is Partey not playing? Because Partey, for me, we've said it before. I think Dan's touched on it a few times and said he's almost like the back 5. He fits into that back line. He really does. And so, yeah, there were some question marks. But as I say, I don't question the boss. So I was comfortable with. He was happy with it. It was Nottingham Forest. I was happy with it.
What did you make of the lineup then, Andrew?
When I first saw it, I kind of, you're saying, everybody was like, hey, where's Rice, where's Havertz, where are we? And I go back to what we said before. We couldn't take this game lightly, and there was a bit of a nervousness about it. We were talking about it before, and when that came out, we kind of thought, wow, are we taking too much of a chance with this lineup? But it proved us wrong.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of chat and conversation among the groups and on social media and so on that if we lost that game, even on some radio channels, if we lost that game on Saturday, was that the title race over? I don't think it was, but I think it would have had a serious dent on it. I don't think we're totally in it, but we're not out of it just yet, because I do think that Liverpool will start dropping points. They didn't look spectacular against Southampton, and Southampton, one of the worst teams in the league at the weekend. You look at the performance that Ipswich had against Tottenham and the Ipswich performance against Manchester United. Any team can give another team a proper game. So I don't think the title race is totally over, but I do think that it would have made a huge impact if we didn't get 3 points. Good to hear that Heath won the Battle of the House with his other half, who's a Forest fan. So good to see that, Heath. And let's talk about the opening foray. Like, to be honest, 15 minutes in, we went 1-0 up, but before that, we had a chance beforehand, which was I think that was Moreno. It was a Timber offside goal. Odegaard clipped a free kick into the box where Moreno headed a goalward, but it hit Dominguez, who cleared it off the goal line, but Timber put it in the back of the net, and I thought, brilliant, he's got off the mark, but it was deemed offside. Couple of things about the offside one, and I'll come to you first, Andrew, on this, about the image, and then we'll talk about the process with you, Dale. The image here that we've got, this is the image that they've used. Listen, I've got no issue if the goal is offside and if it's the right decision, but how the hell, if you're using drawn lines on pieces of paper and everything else, how the hell do you get an offside decision from that image? Please bring in the semi-automated offside software sooner rather than later. Andrew?
Yeah, the quicker that's in, the better. I mean, that's you can't have it. You can't distinguish whether that's offside or not from that angle. But I think you've said before, Ferg, we've seen the cameras at the Emirates, which runs along the side of the pitch. So why can't they use that?
They were there last on Saturday as well.
Why can't you use that? I mean, and again, I'll come back to when we're sat in the stadium and you've watched all the TV highlights back and everything else, and it's like they come to that decision in 2 seconds. You sat in that stadium, it was a good 2 minutes while they were still looking at it. And it was kind of like, are they going back again to find a reason not to give this?
It was longer than that, Dale, wasn't it? I think they added 5 minutes on at the end of the first half, and the majority of that, probably 4 minutes of it, was the offside decision.
Yeah, when you're in the stadium, it's like, and you don't quite know what's going on. It's like I didn't realise how bad it was until I see it. And going back to what you guys just said a minute ago, Nobby's just put a message in the chat there. Says, how can you use a pitch that's not even in line with play? I completely agree. And Arnie mentions as well that how is that the only angle? It just so happens to be the only angle when again, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories, but normally you have 3 or 4 different angles. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, it really does suck the enjoyment out of it. We celebrated. It's great when you get to celebrate twice, but then when you don't know what's going on in the stadium, and you don't know, this is why I think the semi-automated would be fantastic. In some sports, in some countries, in some leagues, they also have the audio. In women's football, they trialed it. You can hear the audio from the VAR, and at least you know what's going on. And the stadium is all listening, but it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work.
I have, in principle, I think VAR to get the right decision is not bad. I don't think it's been working correctly in practice of recent times. I think it's been refereed more by Stockley Park than it is being refereed by the guy on the green grass. But I'm all for listening to it. I'm all for getting the right decision. But that was probably the right decision. But hey, we've come unstuck to some dubious decisions so far. Did
you hear yesterday they had to Stockley Park on a fire drill, so they couldn't.
Yeah,
and there was no VAR for a bit.
Yeah, I know. They've had a few comments about it. Look, 15 minutes in, so Saka and Odegaard worked together. Saka magic was absolutely magic. Some brilliant close ball control. He collected the ball from Jorginho, which found Odegaard. And there was a clever interchange between the two of them, and it went back to Saka again. And I think it went past 3 defenders and shot it into the goal. While we're on about Saka and Odegaard, let's look at some of these things here. So you got Saka and Odegaard, the interplay between them, but it all stems from probably a bit further back down the pitch. If we look at Timber and Calafiori. So Timber and Calafiori, let me take the banner off 1 second. Timber and Calafiori, this is the interchange between them. Andrew, talk to us about this.
I looked at this and I just thought, because it was saying about how well Timber played and as well, and I was thinking, I thought Calafiori had a great game. And when you kind of look at some, the balls, and they're all his successful passes, and you just look, we talked about last week how heavy we went down the right hand side. And then you look on here and you see that we've distributed it. Okay, we're still very right side heavy for the obvious reason, but you look at Calafiori and the amount of times that ball's come across, and it's all really positive, and it just shows you how much we're involving the left and the right backs now into the game.
And Dale, Calafiori was, I think he was instructed to hold himself back a little and play a little bit slower interchanges and stuff like that in the game, and he said he played within himself a little bit. How did you think that the pair performed? I thought Timber was outstanding, by the way.
I thought both our fullbacks were absolutely fantastic, to be honest with you. I thought their link-up play, the way they held their positions, both attacking and defensively. I was saying before we went live today, I don't remember Forest really setting foot in our half, let alone having a shot on target, which they had 0, by the way. But on that there, I think a lot of that was down to the organisation of that back line in particular. Our fullbacks, I thought, had a fantastic game.
If we push that forward then to further up the pitch, where you got on the right hand side, you got Martin Odegaard, and you could see, honestly, guys, we talked about it in our drunken stupor after the game, the difference that man made to the how we performed in the whole pitch, even the stadium. I didn't think he was very I can't think of the right word, a big personality as a captain on the pitch. But you could see it actually on Saturday. He was instructing and talking to his players. He's getting his players up. I've seen him many a time go to the crowd and put his arms up and so on. But he really did make an influence on that. And he brought the best out in Saka. He took defenders away from Saka, so Saka wasn't getting beaten up by 2 or 3 people. So 2 people had to go to him rather than go to Saka, and it freed up the pair of them. And here is the touch markers on here. Dale, what did you make of their performance and the difference in just Saka's performance by having Odegaard there?
I think it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? We've said about Odegaard, as a comment in the chat now from Connor as well, what a difference we are with Odegaard in the team. So I just want to touch on this briefly because some of you guys listening and you guys obviously met him on Saturday as well. So Rich, who comes with me, his father-in-law is a Cambridge United fan, and he's always wanted to go to the Emirates, always wanted to go. So we this was the weekend we planned it since the start of the season, and he came to the ground, he sat with us, and it's at full time. He said to us, "Holy shit, how good is Odegaard?" That's what he said. I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You don't realise how good he is until you watch him play, because on the TV you're not watching Odegaard, you're watching the game. But when you're actually at the ground, you can see what he does on and off the ball. By the way, he is absolutely fantastic. And at the moment, I know it's easy to say, but who in that position is better than him in the league? Honestly, genuine question.
Nobody.
I would have said Rodri's the close one, but he's injured. So and De Bruyne would be up there with them. But I think fit and playing at the moment probably one of the fittest. And if we extrapolate that a bit further and bringing in what we talked about with the right backs and left backs, this is the heat map or the passes by Saka and Jesus Christ,
Odegaard and Timber coming in
together. Yeah, off you go.
I mean, again, you look at that graphic and you just look. I mean, how involved we are. And I think it's interesting. I tried to go back and find one with Ben White in it as well, and it's very, very similar actually when you look at it. And you think has Timber been given that role? And you look how many times he was down and he was involved in into that bottom corner. And you absolutely spot on, Dose. I mean, Odegaard just took players away from Saka and let Saka have those one-on-ones and those runs at people. But part of that as well is when you look where Timber was and how many times he's on the edge of the 18-yard box and he's sort of waiting for that, to be able to play that cross in, or he's there just to pick up that loose ball. And he did a couple of times. But
he even got that disallowed goal, didn't he? So
yeah, I mean, Timber for me was a great performance, and some Theo's my lad. He plays left back and right back, and even he's on the train on the way back as he was trying to keep me awake. I'm going to put in. He was literally. Point and say, Dad, did you watch him? Because he's watching Timber play, and he's like, even he's saying, he said, look how far up he's getting. He said, that's what I need to do when I get back, and I'm going to start playing. And and he's to have that influence on someone who's watching it in the stadium is, for me, it's just brilliant. I thought he was the best. I thought he was our best player on Saturday.
So listen, we had plenty more attempts in that first half. We had attempts by Jesus, Saka. Trossard. We kept Sells really, really busy, and I have got the stats for the end of the game, which I will share with you now because I don't think they changed very much. There were no attempts or shots on target. I said, no shots on target, 7 over the whole game for Forest. We went into the second half. We came out in the second half, and I've occasionally questioned Mikel Arteta, which is not something I like to do often, but I've occasionally questioned Mikel Arteta on his timings of some substitutions. But he made a substitution at half-time, taking Jorginho off, who was outstanding, and he's a coach on the pitch because he's instructing his experiences. You could just watch him. He's you talk about me in block 5, he's doing it on the pitch. But he brought on Thomas Partey. And as Dan has said before, and many on here have said, a fit Thomas Partey, a Thomas Partey at his best, there's no other player better than him. And he made an impact more or less straight away. He came on at 45 minutes, 52 minutes in. Saka and Odegaard were involved, and Timber as well was involved in it. Odegaard played a ball to Saka, and Saka played it back. And I think it was the movement of Saka and Odegaard that made the space for Partey.
Yeah.
And he managed to get that goal. There's a stat actually I've got it here on here.
If you watch that movement from Odegaard in that goal, and you watch him he plays that ball out to Saka, and there's a little bit of space that opens up in front of him, and he just runs into it. And the closest person to Partey is the ref. He's got so much space to be able to do that. And again, I know we keep saying it with him, but his movement off the ball just curates that whole goal.
Yes, phenomenal. It did. And Partey was lucky he didn't hit the referee because the referee did try to get in his way. But Thomas Partey's 7 Premier League goals, 4 of them have come outside the box. Of all players that have scored 5+ goals in the competition, he's the only one to net more goals from outside the box than anybody else. We saw him do it for Atletico when he was there, and that was the one thing you hear often in some games when he's at the halfway line or on the penalty spot taking the ball on the Dale, and people are shouting shoot. He took it sweetly, didn't he? He took it really, really sweet, and I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And quite in the past, I've been quite critical of his shooting, in all honesty, because, like you say, the crowd always go shoot, and quite often we see it go nowhere near or gets blocked or whatever it was. So when I see him shoot, I'm always hopeful every time someone goes, and either I cheer or I go, "Oh, that was close." But yeah, I was over the moon that went in. I think if anybody deserves a goal, Partey deserves a goal, and I think it highlights just how important it is to the team as well. And again, going back to those stats he showed a minute ago, like that shot, 0 shots on goal continued when Partey took over from Jorginho. They couldn't get in our half, let alone near our goal.
No.
Yeah.
Did we miss
had a
Declan
great view
Rice?
of that Partey goal.
Did we miss Declan Rice?
No, I don't think we missed Declan Rice. No, I think that Declan Rice. I don't think we're seeing the same Declan Rice this season what we saw last. I don't think he's hit top gear yet. I think he's the sort of professional who will take motivation from that and say, they didn't need me. I need to up my game a little bit. I think he's that sort of model professional. I really do. And I think he will step it up a bit to try and say, actually, I should be starting that game and go from there. So I don't know what the reason for Rice being rested was. I don't really care what the reason was. I mean, Arteta thought it was a big thing. But one thing I do want to quickly say is that after the game, I don't know if you saw the media hype around Mikel Arteta having to justify himself as to why Saka played. He pulled out the England squad, and he can send in the scans to prove he had a scan and what have you. 8 players pulled out the England squad. Where are the other 7 stories?
10.
I don't remember seeing one. Or 10 then. I don't
10
remember seeing any more
total.
stories.
I've never seen Alex Ferguson get asked that.
Did Cole Palmer get asked did Cole Palmer get asked why he didn't play? Did anybody else get asked why they didn't play? No, of course they didn't. I don't understand. And I don't want to say it's the media bias, but why? Why Saka? He's a young English player. Our media should be on his side. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's like that wouldn't happen in any other league, in any other country in the world. They'll be praising him, not questioning him.
Yeah, I think he says in his press conference as well, doesn't he? So it's the first time. I think I've got the quote here. He said, "What happened was that instead of 12 or 13 players, we trained with 19 for the first time in 6 weeks." And it's like, that's kind of sums it up, doesn't it? You know, we are going to start protecting. We've got some big games coming up. I mean, tomorrow night's massive. And then, we go then, we've got West Ham, and we've got United, haven't we? So we've got some big games coming up.
Right, we're going to have Trevor on shortly, I think in about 5 or 10 minutes' time. But let's move on further into this game. Odegaard and Saka were taken off. I think that was a good idea to protect them. Odegaard had just come off for an injury. Saka gets overplayed. And we brought on Ethan Nwaneri. I'm not sure about the chant. He's one of our own. I get it. I like it. But it does have a bit of a Harry Kane sort of Spursy sort of feel to it. We've got to do something better, but I'm not the man to be talking about that one. We brought Ethan Nwaneri on, and we brought Raheem Sterling. Ethan, within 2 minutes of coming on, he's already dropped his shoulder, got past his man, and had a shot. 2 minutes later, he does something very, very similar. Sterling provides the assist, and it's 3-0 at that point. This boy, young man. Well, he's only 17. I saw him for his debut when I was at Brentford away, and he was 15 and a half, I think, and he just looked like a monster of a fella. But this guy is going to be a superstar, isn't he, Del?
Unbelievable player. Now, I get why people are calling for him to play more. I get it. And I get why the club are protecting him. But there's times when you've got to unleash these players. I really do believe that. And I know in the past we've had conversations about here saying it's too early for him. I called for him to start against Newcastle, if you remember, and I was told no, it's too early. I don't think it is too early. You look at all the top players over the years, right? Look at Wayne Rooney, right? One of England's greatest ever goal scorers. One of Man United's top goal scorer of all time. You look at Michael Owen. They all burst onto the scene at that age. Now I get you've got to protect him to an extent, but you've also got to know when to take the leash off and let him go. I would like to see him get more game time because I think he's an unknown quantity as for the opposition, and I do think the opposition would look at him and go, "Oh, what do we do? We know what he's capable of." Because I think he scored 8 goals in 8 appearances. Is that right? Am I right in thinking that's like 8 appearances as a substitute or starting? He's scored 8 goals or something along those lines. It's quite. I'll share it when I find it. Great statistic, but I'd like to see the leash loosened a little bit. I really would.
I'm comfortable with it being more cautious. I was glad he got longer minutes than just like 10 minutes. I was glad he came on, okay, 82 minutes. We know there's going to be 5 or 6 minutes added on at the end. So he got 15 minutes. I'm hoping the next time he comes on, he gets 20 minutes. He's playing. I would like to see him start again against Crystal Palace. And in the FA Cup, I want to see him start and play. I want to get to see him come on maybe, I don't know, a game over Christmas, come on at half time or whatever. But if you think about it, the size of the man and the stature of the man, this is your lad. That's Theo. He's nearly the size of the pint of Guinness.
You'll get me in trouble with that one, mate.
He wasn't drinking that. We only done it. We staged that photo, by the way.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We just. And you know what? That's quite scary when you stand next to Theo and you look at him. Theo's 13, so he's 4 years difference, and you look at the size difference in him. He's just mad. He's just massive, isn't he? He's a man.
My grandson will be 16 in January, and he's still a young slip of a lad. And this guy is the second youngest goal scorer at 17 years, 247 days. So he'll be 18. I don't know whether it's in January or whatever, but he's the second youngest goal scorer behind Cesc Fabregas. You got Serge Gnabry, Chamberlain, and Martinelli also in there, who are in their 18s. But I just think he's going to be an absolute wonder kid.
Can you imagine being a centre back at the 80th minute and then making a substitution and seeing him come on to run at you? You'd be like, "Oh, sod this." He's so skillful.
He's enthusiastic. He's young and he's fast. And the thing that I like about him. The thing I like about him more than anything else is that his natural instinct is just to go, right, I'm coming, I'm going to score a goal. Dempsey has got a really good point, which backs up why I'm comfortable with him being eased in, which Michael Owen burnt out too early when he was young. Jack Wilshere, there's plenty of players who've had too much burden on them at 18 years of age.
I agree on that note there. But for every Jack Wilshere, for every Michael Owen, we do have a Wayne Rooney, you have a Vinicius Jr., you have players like that. It happens, right? They were just unlucky.
Yeah.
If we're honest, Owen was under injuries, as was Jack Wilshere. I get what you're saying 100%, and I agree, Demsek. I really do. I think we do need to kind of time it. I really do. However, I'm just saying I want the leash released a little bit. And what Fergus said, I think probably nails it. Like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, starting some of the smaller games, like when we have the Palace in the Cup, for example. That's the sort of thing I meant. But I agree with what you're saying. You can't chuck him at the deep end 90 minutes straight away.
Well, Jota had on the 89th minute, he had an attempt that was ruled offside, clearly offside. But just leading up to that, I'm going to show a quick video clip. I won't show much of it because I'm only going to get it sanctioned. So if you're not watching live, unfortunately, this is probably going to be chopped out later by YouTube. And I won't make 1 penny out of this show. I mean, literally 1 penny. But it's Hudson-Odoi's tackle on William Saliba. Hudson-Odoi's tackle. I don't think he's intentional about it, but I think it could be career-ending. Andrew, I'll go to you first on this one.
It's horrible, isn't it? When you see that back as well, it's there. It's that point there. That could have quite easily, broken tib and fib. And you've seen that happen. And and I agree. I don't think he's meant to do it. I think it's one of those unfortunate ones where he's gone in and Saliba's gone for the tackle. But besides law, wasn't it that he did that when we're 3-0 up and didn't really need to do it? But why has VAR not looked at that? Why is if they just thought, they're 3-0 up, it doesn't really matter, kind of thing. But mate, it'd be interesting to see if it was 1-1, where that'd have gone.
But to be honest, I really don't care where it had gone with regards to a decision. Yes, is it a red card? Is it a yellow card? Is it, whatever the case may be. But it's just the fact that the tackle is so nasty. I do think that VAR probably did take the attitude of, so late in the game, as you said. Dale, we've seen it with Eduardo. We've seen it with Diaby. We've seen it with loads and loads of players. A tackle like that, and it ends their career. Arnie is right. The guy can't help it, and he can't stop his foot.
No foul.
It's just, there's no malice.
No foul for me. I don't think there's any. I don't think it's a foul. I don't think there's any malice at all. I think that's just he's took a shot. There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. You can't just stop your foot dead after kicking the ball. I think it was a brave attempt to block the shot by Saliba. It was just a horrible, unfortunate tackle that comes on the back of two men playing football. We're just very, very lucky that Saliba didn't get any serious injury from that, because that is a horrible, horrible challenge. It's and like Demsek he echoes what Arnie says as well. It's not a card. Even if what would VAR look at? VAR would just say, yeah, he's just kicked the ball and someone's got in the way after. There's no foul at all for me.
It's just the inconsistency that I sort of look at, and you wonder sort of, if someone does that in another couple of weeks, does it get pulled up by VAR, and does it get looked at? And it's just one of them other inconsistency rules we're going to look at.
I think I've just sent Trevor a message, by the way, so we'll see if he can manage to lift his phone to his face. If he's don't know how. So they aren't an hour ahead in Portugal, so it is 7:30. He's only been drinking probably since about 11. So you never know. He might be okay. Yeah, he'll be all right.
He only had 2 pints. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he only ever has 2 pints, and Donna's with him, so he'll definitely only have 2 pints.
Oh, he's definitely only having 2 pints. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So 2,000 victories in the top flight in the Premier League. Only one other club has to do that, which was Liverpool. They've got 2,068. A massive achievement on the day that Mikel Arteta has his 250th game for as manager of the Arsenal. 250 games. Score out of 10. Dale?
God, you went to Dale.
Score for this game out of 10. I've got to go 10.
250 games. 250 games for Arteta. Score out of 10. Sorry, I didn't warn you about this. No.
Sorry. At the end of this season, if he goes on to do something,
no, 250 games. At that point, it's a milestone.
I'd say a 7/8. And the reason I say that is because he's recognised we had quite a bit of deadwood. We've got rid of that deadwood, which was a big part of the job, let's face it. Because without getting rid of them and recognising that, he doesn't free up funds and get the back end of the board to get transfers in elsewhere. So I think that's one part of it. That's off the pitch. On the pitch, I think he had a great start. Obviously, as we know, he won the FA Cup, which was a great thing. But that FA Cup's only going to last us so long. We've been pushing for the league now for 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, if Liverpool beat us to the title this season, that's poor. That's really, really poor. 12 months ago, we were so far ahead of them. We've got better players than them. We were playing better football than them. Yes, we've had a slow start to this season. Yes, they've not had the hardest run of games. That being said, at the end of the season, we'll then judge. I'm not saying by any stretch I'm an Arteta out, because I'm not. I think he's very, very good for the club. I'd like to see the club support him. And when I see people on Twitter or X, what you want to call it these days,
we're not even entered into that conversation. So you're going 6-ish. I'm sorry, 7.
No, I'm going 7.5.
7.5 out of 10. Okay, if you want to put your scores of what you think of a score out of 10 for Arteta's first 250 games in the comments, please do. You can do it also on Twitter. It will come in on here as well. It's not just YouTube, so please do. Andrew, I gave you a second because we're work colleagues.
Do you know what? Right, and the number that I first came to straight into my head was 7.5. Honestly, because for me, what he's done is he's brought the Arsenal back to the fans, and he's reunited us all again. You're turning up at some of the stadiums before, some of the games before, and the atmosphere was flat, and there wasn't any link between the players and the fans. And you look at what he's done and how he's done that, with Ramsdale, really sort of getting everybody involved, and it's just lifted the atmosphere around the club. Absolutely, yeah, definitely, yeah. The atmosphere around the club is completely different. So he's got to be given a huge amount of credit for that. Agree with Dale. He had a lot of stuff to clear out when he came in, and he's done it. We're moving on to, we're pushing for what would make it into an 8 and 9 for me would have been another trophy or 2, which I think we should have had really by now. I do think we've got to sort of keep pushing for the league. In January, do we need to go and spend some money on a striker? For me, yes, we do. We need to go and get someone who's going to do, finish that off for us, for us to even have a push at it. The boys have done phenomenally well so far, but with something we're missing, and for me, it's that number 9.
I think the number 9 will probably wait till the summer, but for me, I'm probably slightly more pessimistic than you guys, only because I do think that in the cups he's had a lot of work to do, get rid of the players and stuff like that. And I admire from that. I admire him for reuniting the fan base. I admire him for bringing back what it means to be Arsenal, not as an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal player, but to be Arsenal. And I do believe he understands and gets the club 100%. As I said before, sometimes some of his decisions I don't understand on some in his early times with some of the substitutions and so on. And he's only done it once this season, I think, where I thought, oh, really? I would have liked to pushed on in the FA Cup last season or into the League Cup. I think we should have done probably better in the Europa League than we have done. I don't like what's happening in Europe, which we'll talk about at the moment. I don't think we're performing well enough in Europe. So I'll give him, I was going to go 6.5, but based on some of the stuff that you guys said, I'll probably up it to 7. But it's imperative that we challenge. And I don't think it's imperative that we win the season, win the title this season. But I do think that we need to be winning the title of Champions League, something significant like that by the end of next season, because I think there's going to be some serious money spent in the club, either January, unlikely January, or in the summer window. Well, let's move on to Champions League. Sporting Lisbon sits second place. I did have it up here, and I've lost it. In the Champions League or the European Super League by the back door. No sign of Trevor. Haven't even got blue ticks on the WhatsApp. So I don't think we're going to get live from Lisbon tonight. But the last time they beat Man City 4-1, Sturm Graz, they won away 2-0. They drew away at PSV and they won at home 2-0. Domestically, they're on a 5-win run. Arsenal, they were 12th place with 7 points. We've won 2, drawn 1, and lost 1. We've lost 1 away, 1 at home. Our last game was a loss 1-0 to Inter Milan. But we won both our home games, 1-0 and 2-0 to Shakhtar Donetsk and PSV, respectively. Domestically, we know where we are. We've won 2, drawn 2, and lost. Hang on, 1 second.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, you couldn't time this even more. Hello, mate. Are you so?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute, boys. Take me out of the show a minute. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, okay.
I was worried about where
this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
Right, so listen, doubtful for Nuno Santos is out with a knee, Gonçalves out with a hamstring, Casemiro out with an ankle, doubtful is De Bast with a muscular injury. We've got no real injuries or anything else. What are we expecting on this one? I'll go to you briefly, Dale, because we won't have
we'll keep it quick. I think we have to bring Partey. Partey has to come back into that holding midfield role. One thing Sporting do very, very well is score goals. Their last 3 games, they've scored 14 goals. They won 6-0 in a cup on Friday. Before that, it was Braga away. They were scored 4 away from home, and then they beat City 4-1. On that note, I'm going to hand over to you guys. Back to Trev.
Hello, boys. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Your cheeks look a bit rosy in the old cheeks there, Trev. Everything all right, mate?
I've had a couple of beers, boys. I've had a couple of beers. It's been a lovely sunny day in Lisbon. We've had a beautiful day. I've had my shorts on, had my guts out, and now we're just having something to eat. And now look, the waitress is coming over now to fetch me my beer. Thank you, waitress. You're very welcome. Can you come round here a minute, please? Thank you, waitress.
See, guys, told you he's punching. So, Trevor, not want to keep you away from your beer and your dinner. Give us your summary of how you think it's going to go tomorrow. It's a must-win game in Lisbon for the Arsenal. We need to get into that top 8 of the group.
I don't think it's a must-win, but it's a mustn't-lose for me. You know what I mean? It's I'd love us to win. We need to win to keep us out of them playoffs. But we mustn't lose. We mustn't lose against Lisbon tomorrow. And I'm sure we won't, actually. I've got every confidence in us being able to perform over here. I know that Lisbon have turned Manchester City over, but recent results have shown that Manchester City are not what they were. So, yeah, I just want to make sure we don't lose. We don't lose, Ferg.
Trevor, while you're here, can I ask you to deputise? You're the host
For
for
what?
about 30 seconds.
Oh, you're not going for it. I've only
He's off again.
He's got to go empty his bag, ain't he?
No, he's gone empty.
Trevor, I've got a question for you if I can, Trev, whilst we're waiting for Fergus to come back. Have you been speaking to any Portuguese fans out there, Lisbon fans? And if so, what's the kind of general consensus amongst them guys?
Of course, I haven't been talking to Portuguese fans. I'm an Arsenal fan. Now, come on, don't talk to them. No, it's set up for Christmas now. Lisbon, there's Christmas markets on, which has been a bit of a nightmare. So I've brought the missus with me, so she's wanting to go and look around all the Christmas markets, but I don't really mind. No, mate. I think the feeling picked up from a couple of taxi drivers last night. We were in the taxis. They've lost their manager to Manchester United, but they've promoted their B team manager into the main team at Lisbon, and they all seem very, very happy with him. Very happy with him. I don't know him, not heard of him before, but we'll see. I just think,
Pereira, isn't it? João Pereira, isn't it? He used to play for he's ex right back for Sporting Lisbon, so he's been there. He's been around for a while. He knows. So he's one to favourite to go straight in to take the top.
So he's come through the ranks then, has he, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I'm not really worried about Lisbon. We're back in that position now. We've got Odegaard back, which is massive, right? Absolutely massive. And I think with Odegaard inside and fit again, we're back to where we were. We're back to being capable of beating anybody. I didn't realise until this season when Odegaard got injured just how much he meant to our team. Obviously, we knew he was quality, but as has been proven in the last few weeks, he's key, he's vital. He's the cog. He's probably more important than anyone else in the team with his energy levels. So we've got Odegaard back. I was interested today to see that Tierney's travelled with the squad, hasn't he? You know, Tierney and Lewis Skelly have been added to the Champions League squad, so that's good. But yeah, I'm not going to say we're going to win, but I don't think we're going to lose, boys. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, Trev, here's one for you. So saying tomorrow, so we've got to get a result. Where's the most important place on that pitch tomorrow where we've got to make sure that we perform?
Oh, mate, without a doubt, our strongest part of our team at the moment, for me, is our defence, right? We've got
Completely
our top back four is the best back four in the world, in my eyes. I know I'm biased, but our back four at its best is the best in the world. There's none better. I wouldn't swap them for anybody, you know. So as long as they perform, you've got a chance. You've got a chance. And we've Odegaard back and with Saka on form, you know. With Thomas Partey, we said at the start of the season, I did, if Thomas Partey stays fit all season, then we'll win something, you know. And I still stand by that. So we haven't got any weaknesses. We've got over our injuries and we haven't got any weaknesses now. And I'm looking forward to Lisbon. It's the third time in about 5 years we've been here. But I love this place. And I'm looking forward to a good game again tomorrow night. But I can't see us losing. It may come back and bite me on the arse, but I honestly can't find reason for us losing, boys.
I completely agree with you because I think the most important bit is that back four. Because I think if we shut Gyökeres down, we'll go and win it. And he scored 16 goals in his 11 games so far this year, just in the league. I think he's 5 from 6 from memory in Champions League. So, and nobody else. The next player behind him has scored 4 goals. So he's the main threat. So if we can shut him down, I think we go and win it.
Absolutely, and we know that our back four can shut quality attackers down. We've had Haaland in our pocket in the last few games we've played them. He scored in the last game. Haaland in the early part of the game, we let him go, but he's not been out of our pockets for a few games now. Haaland, Harry Kane, before he left Tottenham, he was nailed down when he came up against Saliba and Gabriel. So I've got no worries about the defence. But I do, looking at the other end of the pitch, Andrew, my view has slightly changed this year. Last year we were scoring goals for fun and they're coming from all over the field. But I'm starting to think, we need to sign a quality striker, a big name striker. Because as much as we praise Haaland, excuse me, take that back. As much as we praise Havertz, Havertz
Be
is
humble,
playing
please.
quality football. He doesn't score enough goals, Havertz. And, I mean, what's his name? Jesus ain't scored for donkey's years, has he?
Since February.
Exactly. And he can run around the field, and we can all say he's putting in maximum effort and he's got quality skills, Jesus. But at the end of the day, you play someone up front for one reason and one reason only, and that's to put the ball in the net, And Jesus ain't doing that. So for me, we have to look past Jesus. If Jesus doesn't play tomorrow, I'll be a bit happier than I would be if he does play.
I think the only worry for me is hopefully Gyökeres doesn't think he's on trial tomorrow night.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I have every confidence in our central defence.
If he is on trial, let's hope. Hopefully, it's not. He needs a second edition maybe later in the year, not against us.
Save it for somebody else.
Trevor, I'm going to let you get on with Donna and the boys.
I've got a really important announcement to make. The beer in Lisbon is very good. Very good. It's been going down all day long. All day long.
I've still got that video of you with your was it Porto when you'd lost your key and you're like pissed.
No,
€1 bottle. Where was that?
I'll never forget that, mate. That was Guimarães.
Yeah.
We booked into the hotel like in the afternoon and went to the bar, and beer was €1 a bottle. So we never left the hotel for about 6 hours. Just kept drinking, and then of course I came on a podcast. And I was a bit the worse for wear, wasn't I?
Yeah. Just a tad. Trevor, get yourself off with all the others and the lads and everything else. You're going to do some videos. Are you trying
to fucking get rid of me or what?
No, I'm not. Stop swearing. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You're welcome to stay as long as you like.
Before you go, you've said you can't see us losing. You're not saying we're going to win. What's your score prediction for tomorrow, Trev?
Oh, my lordy. I'll tell you what I'd take tomorrow. I'll take 1-0 to the Arsenal. A great European away performance. Saka score a goal, or even Odegaard or Partey score a goal, and we come away with a 1-0 win. And then, see, this European Super League that we've been shoehorned into this year, right? And it is the European Super League. I don't care what anybody says. The format does mean that one win away from home makes a massive difference. If you're winning all your home games, you only have to win one away from home, and you're in that top half. So it's massively important for me that we get something tomorrow. A win would be ideal. We go to Girona in January, don't we? And we hopefully get a win there, but we shouldn't be. It shouldn't get to that late in the stage that we need to get something in Girona. We're a good enough side to have put it all to bed before that comes along, And a win tomorrow, win our home game, and we're looking very good then. I'm very happy with how we are.
You look at that though. So if we win tomorrow, we go level on points with Sporting, and they're second. That just shows you how tight that group is and how that league is.
Andrew, exactly, mate. Exactly. It is that tight. I don't know, right? And it'd be interesting to see what you boys have to say. I don't like this league system, right? I don't like this league system. Like taking the last game away at Inter at Milan, when we played brilliantly and lost to a right dodgy penalty. Nothing would have given me greater pleasure than to have Milan back at our place and show them how good we are, And I hate the fact that we don't get a chance to do that. But at the end of the day, it's what they want. It's getting more money out of us. If we have to play in the playoff round, and then we manage to reach the final, we'll have 9 trips abroad this year. 9 trips. That's too much for the average fan. Too much for me. Donna can't hear me at the moment, so I can talk freely. But the money I was spending this year on trips abroad is like unbelievable. And I go in cheap. I don't have big hotels. I go in cheap. So it is.
That's why I'm not out there with you. I can't afford it this year. I've got other stuff going on with family and stuff. That it's just.
Yeah.
I know. It's 5 or 6 figures, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate. It's a lot of money, let me tell you. Ferg, to be honest, I'd like to say I miss you, but I haven't. So, You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I haven't missed you either. It's been a pleasure.
At the end of the day. So I'm going to go in a minute, but what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to go up to the ground tomorrow morning, early doors, like I do every time we're away in Europe. It's a bit of a thing I always do, go to the ground in the morning off the game. Been to Lisbon's ground a few times in the last few years, but I'm going to go there in the morning. I'll do a little bit of a video and send it to you, Ferg, we'll send it out there. Anyone at Guns at Yellow Ribbons that wants to watch it, I'll be over the moon if you wanted to watch it. If you don't want to, then don't. To be honest, you know.
I've got some work bits to do, so it'll be up later in the afternoon. But yeah, I'll get it up for you.
Do you know what? I've just seen the amount of people that are watching us at the moment. Bloody hell! Look at the people watching us. Nearly 400 people watch us live. If I'd have known, I'd have done my effort. No, I'd have tied it up a bit.
Yeah. There are 390 of us, of fellow Gooners on here. You can go across and if you ever want to make comments, you can go across and see us on any of our socials. Guns and Ribbons on X and what's the other one? Blue Sky and also Guns and Yellow Ribbons on all the other platforms. We'd love you to like and subscribe us. And yeah, so hey,
do you know what?
You know I monetized the YouTube last week. You know how much?
Yeah, how much we got? Are we up to double figures yet? 11 pence.
No, 45 pence.
45 now.
Rebelled.
One day we're going to be millionaires, you know.
45 pence. And he's told me I'm not having any of that. I'm gutted. I thought I was going to get rich, but he's not giving me a penny of it. So, yeah.
That'll get us around in the Woodbine one day, that.
Yeah, it gets a baby Guinness.
Yeah, well, in about I'll be fucking dead by then, man. I'm 62 years old now. You know what I mean? Sorry. Did I swear then?
Yeah, you did again. Well, I'm used to you. I'm just thinking about having a beer with you. That's the whole concept. Trev, now you fuck off. Enjoy your trip and have a safe stay.
Do you mind stop? I'm enjoying. I don't want to go yet. I'm enjoying my time on here now with you boys. Okay. I'm having a good night.
So listen,
I'm having a good night.
There, let's talk about the form. The form for Sporting against English clubs. They've won 11.
Ferg, I'm just watching. My missus is sat on the table 2 down. And some Portuguese bloke started chatting her up now. I hope he buys her a drink and save me some money. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, dear. I tell you what, to get you in the mood, do you want me to press the button a little bit early?
Oh, yeah, press the button, then we'll talk after, yeah?
Yeah, all right. So, Trevor, you said you'd take a 1-0, but what are you predicting?
I'm going to predict a 1-0, mate. Definite 1-0. Listen, right, I'll tell you. Last night, right, we goes out. Donna comes on some away trips, as you all know. And we forgot to eat, so we meets up with the lads in this Irish bar and we gets on it. Well, by 10 o'clock, she couldn't stand up, my missus. I had to carry her all the way home, right? It was a nightmare. Up hills on slippery floors. And all day today, I think she can hear me. I didn't realise she can hear me. It's giving me the right stare glares now. She was that bad. I've never known her that bad. She's still on the cokes now. She ain't had a beer all day.
What, is it,
love you, sweetheart. Love you.
Is it Sheffield bad?
Well, thankfully, we didn't have the deposits coming that we had in Sheffield. Do you know what I mean? But apart from that, yeah, she was in a mess. But I don't care. I love her dearly, as you all know. And she deserves a funeral. Oh, there's a dog coming at me now barking. Can you hear it?
That's Nancy telling you to stop slagging off.
I was on the phone to the mother-in-law today, and we were FaceTiming. And no, thank you, mate. I've got a big head. That Matt's won't fit me. I was on the phone to I was on the phone to the mother-in-law today, right? And Nancy was there, the dog was there with her, we were talking. And I said to the mother-in-law, I said, hey, look at Nancy and say, Fergus. She said, what? My mother-in-law thought I was mad. I said, no, look at Nancy and say, Fergus. So she looked at her and went, Fergus. And Nancy went, rah, rah, rah. If you come, next time you come to our house, Fergus, I'm going to have to call you Dave, mate. All right.
You went to your old house, where you had little like baby gate to keep her in when she was younger, and she nearly went through it. I've fucking gone in your house. Right, boys, we want to finish this on the hour. What are we expecting? Dale, let's go to you first of all. What are you expecting against Sporting, and your prediction? This is where they are. The league. Sporting, as I said at the beginning, in the second, and Arsenal in 12th. The key is to get into that top 8 position. We need to get into that top 8 position.
I'd love to sit there and say I'm confident and comfortable with a 2 or 3-0 here, but I'm really not. I'm with Trevor. I'll take a 1-0 all day long now. That famous 1-0 to the Arsenal away from home will go down an absolute treat tomorrow. I'm going 1-0.
Andrew, get off your.
I'm just looking at the old head scores previously gone. You know what? I am going to agree, because 1-0 to the Arsenal does look like the right result. So, and I think, I agree with Trev. We'll shut Gyökeres down. Saliba and Gabriel do what they need to do at the back. They won't score, and we will. We'll nick it, and we'll take nice 3 points back to the Emirates. Thank you very much.
Love it.
Well, I like to be positive. I'm with Gooner Ross. I think it's going to be a draw. We've only won 1 against Portuguese opposition. We've drawn 5 and lost 4. So I don't know. I'm worried that we're going to end up in this round of 16 extra games and everything else. So let's hope I'm proved wrong. Trevor,
we didn't get out of 4th gear on Saturday, did we? So we coasted to it at the end. So there's plenty in the tank, and if we play like we did the next gear up from what we did on Saturday, why not? Let's do it.
Exactly. You've got to remember, Sporting Lisbon, he's been scoring loads of goals at forward. But in a league that is nowhere near the Premier League standard, nowhere near the Premier League standard. He's going to come up against a better defence than he's ever played against tomorrow night. Ever. He will never, ever have played against a better defence, that Gyökeres. And if he scores, then he'll have earned it, to be honest. But I can't see him scoring. And with all the boys, 1-0. I can't believe you've gone for a draw, Fergus. You should be ashamed of your Irish self. You really should.
Gyökeres has played with Ben White and Trossard at Brighton. He's played in the Premier League for Brighton. No, was it? He was in the Premier League for Brighton, wasn't he? Was he? Brighton? Yeah. And Swansea on loan and Coventry before he dropped down the leagues, and then he went out to Portugal. It would really be interesting to see him back in the Premier League and see him with a better squad, because you can see how much Trossard improved when he came to Arsenal. So it would be interesting. Trevor, have a good time. How are the boys out there? What's the noise like?
Thank you. Yeah, there's loads of Arsenal fans around. A load have arrived this afternoon. We were here yesterday. There weren't many yesterday. And there's loads more coming in the morning. We've just been. There's a market here called the Timeout Market. It's a huge, great food hall. It's full of Arsenal fans having a bite to eat and having a couple of beers, all being very well behaved. We've had a lovely meal in there. We're just sat in this square now outside. There's a tiny little stall here that's got a couple of beer pumps. So we're going to have a couple of beers here. Then we're about a 20-minute walk away. So we're going to head back to towards a little bar near our hotel next. But I just wish you boys, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put our foot down next season or the season after, and we're all going to have to go. Andrew, Dal, Ferg, myself, Dan, all of us. We've all been to away games, but we've never all been together in Europe, and it's an amazing experience. So anyone that's never been, save your pennies and come. I'm very lucky, aren't I, Ferg? I'm very lucky, and I can go to every European away game. I know how lucky I am. I don't take it for granted, and it's something that everybody should experience once. So I'm going to go now.
UK, this is what your benefits pay for. They pay for Trevor. I'm only joking. He's retired. He's on a pension.
You need to take that back, Peter. Take it back. Take it back. Listen. My wife works really hard to pay for me to come here. Let me tell you.
We got 33 seconds. Trevor, go away. Enjoy the beer.
I'm
Say
gone.
hello to the lads.
Love you all.
Enjoy it, Trev. Stay safe, mate.
Okay, mate.
If you can hear me talking when I've gone, it's because I've forgotten to turn this off and I'm swearing at people. So, but I won't now. Yeah,
That is so going to happen.
Boys,
Fantastic. Fantastic.
What's a Trevor show for the last 20 minutes? Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. We are Guns and Yellow Ribbons. We're an Arsenal podcast, as you can see, by Arsenal fans, for Arsenal fans. Dale, Andrew, thank you very much, guys. Really, really enjoyed it. Up the Arsenal, fuck the Spurs. Come on, Arsenal! I want to go. Hang on. I just need... No.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.